Hey, what's up, guys? I appreciate you guys tuning in to my motorcycle vlog. Took the first opportunity on a sunny day to be out and enjoying the ride, although that day was very chilly. So this video that you see right now was actually recorded on Monday. So on Monday, the first day of the week, if you consider Sunday the first day of the week, this past weekend, the government, the governor of the state of Washington declared a quarantine for any setting that's more than 50 people. So a lot of businesses where their employees are all working from home. What's also affected are restaurants as well, right? So what that means is that they can stay open because they are sort of essential, but you cannot sit and eat. You can go ahead and order, do takeout, or maybe delivery is most of the common things that is happening. So I was curious that day to see what it looks like driving through downtown Seattle. Now I'm about an hour away from Seattle from where I live, so I took my motorcycle and decided to head out. So I took a route through I-5 to see what it looks like, corridor, and then exited down to Highway 99, and made it out to the pier where I'm at. So this is the waterfront of Seattle, where you see the big Ferris wheel, where the viaduct used to be, which was Highway 99, and that's no longer there. So on the right hand side, that used to be a freeway there, and it used to block those businesses. So now that's been removed. They can actually see the waterfront, so which is actually nice. I like the idea that they actually removed it so that you have a better view of the city from the water, and vice versa. So I was riding through here, you see all this area is typically busy, and there's rarely anybody walking. The only people that you would see walk through here are people that actually lives in these apartments. And of course the cruise line are typically docked over here, and then there's of course the cruise industry is also in a lockdown as well. You probably hear a lot of those news currently in stories about people being stuck in the cruise line. What's a weird coincidence is that my colleague was supposed to go out into a cruise. Of course they had canceled it due to this corona pandemic. So anyway, I was very curious of what the city looks like in times like these. So I don't recall a city being locked down in which is interesting. Is usually maybe once every other generation that these things happen, right? So I was really curious, and it's a weird, eerie feeling to ride into downtown Seattle where it's not busy. There's no traffic. I mean, I did not have to slow down on the freeway. It was straight shot, 65 miles per hour, 70 miles per hour, and at a busy time. So I rode here into downtown right around usually high peak traffic time between 3:30 and 6 o'clock. So I think I was here about 5:30 in the waterfront. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually work through my way into Pike's Place. So it's really weird, for those people that are quarantined. And I'm curious if you guys are listening to this or watching this video, my motorcycle vlog for this year. I'm curious how you guys are dealing with it. Obviously there's a lot of memes out there. People that are from home, spending some family time, just to be safe. And of course, please be safe out there. If you guys don't need to go out, please don't. To minimize that spread, and hopefully we can, as a nation, get through this together, and hopefully there's a vaccine. So talking about vaccine here, recently I had heard or read that University of Washington actually has a possibility of vaccine. So they're ready for testing. However, based on the article that I read, it could possibly take 12 to 18 weeks. So it's going to be a while. And I think we were, by CDC guidelines, it has to be at least 8 weeks. That's 2 months. So 2 months, for small businesses, that's a big deal for them. So another thing that I encourage you guys to do is, help small businesses out. Some of them are staying open. Obviously, they can't have any seatings inside restaurants and things like that. If you can support them, that would certainly help them. For small businesses, as you know, if they're not making that revenue for that day, it's very difficult for them to pay bills and support their families. So if you have to go out, go to get your essentials, and if you need to get some food, maybe get food from your local restaurant, small businesses, right? So here I'm working towards here into Pike Place Market. Not busy at all. It was very eerie to see. There is no cars around, no people around, especially that are typically hustle and bustle. And I'm riding into the neighborhood that's usually high traffic. Obviously, there's high traffic just about anywhere in any part of the city of Seattle. But I wanted to take a ride to an area where everybody knows there's going to be some traffic. Tourist spots that you typically see. I mean, it's such a beautiful day. When I rode that day, it's you typically, it's busy, right? Everyone wants to spend time in the sun and enjoy the scenery. Seattle's a beautiful city. I pretty much grew up here since I was 10, but I have never seen the city this quiet. I mean, it's quiet, and when I say quiet, you don't hear those cars, the engines. It's weird, right? Of course, there's still the typical city sound, but you don't get that traffic sound or people sound. So I was riding through here. Some restaurants are open. Subway was certainly, I saw, was open, but there's nobody in there. So yeah, it's quiet. It's so dead and eerie. There are some people in here that are walking around, more likely people that are living here. I did see some tourist people, probably from out of town, that's coming into the city, or something that was already scheduled, their travel. So here, you see the Moore Theater. Again, high traffic, usually a ton of people waiting in the bus stop for the public transportation. I rode past a few parking lots, quite empty. There's actually parking in the street, which you rarely or ever see in downtown Seattle. You're lucky to get parking right there. As you can see on the left-hand side, there's parking. Stores, you see there's nobody crossing this, really anybody walking the street. It's empty. This is what Seattle looks like when in a lockdown and a quarantine. Target's empty. I couldn't tell if they were open or not. Certainly some people that have to be in downtown or has to work or live out here, they're certainly going to be here. And yeah, I'm wondering how other cities are dealing with this. I'm curious if there's any other videos out there in downtown, in their metro city, in downtown. So here it is. I'm coming to Pike Place Market. Again, usually very, very busy. I mean, stores on the right-hand side are, as you can see coming up here, is closed. You don't want to turn into this road most of the time because it's so packed. But here, as you see across that farmer's market, it's empty. The doors are shut. Usually you get flowers on the left-hand side, people selling flowers, trinkets coming up here, it's going to be dead, empty. Shelves are empty. There's no stores or pop-ups. Those would be considered small businesses, and there's a restaurant through the alley. Usually there's a seating outside, empty, not open. It's surreal, very eerie, and weird. But I wanted to experience it and see how it looks like. Obviously I didn't stop by and walk around. I just wanted to ride through to be safe. So here's to the left where it's right there. It's empty. Usually there's a lot of pop-up stores there that would sell trinkets. Another area in there as well, entirely empty. Now there are some cafes in there that's open. A bakery, I think it was open there that you can go into, but Starbucks was also no line. I don't think they were open. I couldn't tell if they're open. And and there's parking. We're all over parking. I mean, you never see parking in here. You'd be lucky to get parking. So I was coming up around the corner. I was gonna take a left, but I want to work myself to Westlake. Bad road here. You can't tell due to the GoPro's gimbal. Very smooth, right? But it was a lot of holes. I didn't want to take that road, but I took a wrong turn. So here I am. I'll be working towards the Westlake area. So I'm going to loop around here to my right shortly, and then make myself through the convention center. And you can see where it is going to be quite empty. Now, Westlake is actually one of the downtown shopping area, usually quite packed and busy, hustle and bustle. And there's no movement at all, which is very weird. Now this is actually one of the main roads out here, so this is usually get really, really busy in terms of traffic. People are either leaving the city because it's going to take you to a sign up here that you take a left to go into I-5, and so this is one of the areas to when you're leaving the city, one of the areas you can take a left into and exit. So this was weird to see that it's dead. Again, parking lots are dead. I mean, there's stores on the right hand side that's usually fully packed. People getting into buses and but I do want to share though, I don't normally go into downtown Seattle. Again, first of all, it's an hour away from me. In traffic, it's a little over an hour. And then I try to avoid Seattle. I don't normally go into downtown Seattle unless I really, really need to. And so I don't know what's normally, on a day-to-day basis. But to me, this is not normal. It of course it's not, right? This whole situation. So you see it's empty. I keep saying the word empty because it is. I don't know how to explain it a little bit differently. So here's your Westlake area shopping, and I'll be working myself towards the convention center. And again, there's usually a ton of people there. There's Nike Town, nobody in there. But again, I can't tell if they were open actually. So convention center, usually a ton of people coming out of there. Empty, quite empty. It's weird, eerie. Parking, not your usual sight. But one thing I did notice, though, it seems to be still people walking around, and it's really difficult to gauge if they live there or they're not from here and they're just visiting Seattle. Certainly, people are still working and still required. Businesses that are essential. They're an essential business. That means they're allowed to continue working. So, yeah. There you go. Yeah, it's weird. So now you can see a little bit of an idea of what the city looks like. I'm curious to see other cities, the big cities like LA, cities like New York, and what that looks like. Hopefully, there's somebody with a video out there that will do this, that can share that. I'm just curious to see, um, yeah, what it looks like in larger cities. So Seattle is, of course, is a growing city. Everyone's moving up here. New buildings are coming up all the time. I'm curious to see what that looks like with other places. So I'm gonna leave my commentary from here. I'll be basically from this point forward. I'll be just exiting downtown Seattle, getting to I-5 south. I did end up making it into an area south of Seattle, a city called Tukwila, where one of the biggest malls here in Washington State. And I didn't have a clip on with my ride through there because I didn't get good footage, but it was pretty much empty. The mall was still open, but it was empty. Of course, I think most of the cars in there, people probably working there. So here, when you're exiting this freeway, typically you're on a stop, just trying to change lane. So in here, there's nobody. I mean, I cruise by speed limit and no slowdown whatsoever. So what's interesting, hopefully you guys have stayed safe out there. Again, I'm curious of how others are doing, and this could be happening for the next 8 weeks, 7 to 8 weeks. So we'll see. Stay safe and be healthy. Take care. God bless. Love you all.